day. You're welcome to day 4 of our series, Effective Communication in Marital Serenity 2. Yesterday being the day 3, we looked at the different barriers to effective communication, and I did mention that I will be talking about 2 more barriers to effective communication and the level of communication today. The other 2 barriers I want to talk about on effective communication is being judgmental. Yes, being judgmental. The judgmental attitude is a great obstacle to communication in marriage. A partner may have a genuine worry, but the reality that the other partner would take sides or be judgmental about the concern will make this partner to suppress his or her feeling. And silence from suppressed emotions can be very dangerous to your marriage. It is good to listen to what your partner have to say attentively, and you can now present your thoughts rather than being judgmental. The last barrier to effective communication we will be looking at is assumption. This can be very fatal. Do not read your spouse's mind, and do not expect your spouse to read your mind in order to fulfill your imaginations. What makes sense to you might not make sense to your partner. What comes easy to you might not come easy to your partner. You have to speak out your mind and then allow your partner to also give their view of point. They should give their opinion so that both of you can come to a compromise or an agreement. This is the essence of effective communication. Assumptions leads to resentment and bitterness, which makes your spouse feel inadequate and not being a part of that marriage. Having said that, we should be moving on to look at 6 levels of communication in marriage. Communication transcends everything as a couple. So it is important, it transcends everything. It becomes then important to handle everything so long as effective communication is involved. It becomes important to talk about everything. That is how you can overcome conflict. You can talk about issues of parenting, issues of finance, and issues of sex. You can discuss virtually anything that is your concern or things that comes up in your mind as a couple. A lack of communication precedes almost all problems that arises in marriage. So every problem that arises in marriage can directly or indirectly be traced to a lack of communication. As often as we speak about communication, some couple hear the word and they immediately think about long, deep conversation about intimate things. But this is not always the case. Even 10, 15, 30 minutes, effective communication can go a long way to save your marriage. Here are some 6 types of communication in marriage, or let's say 6 levels of communication in marriage. You would notice that communication usually starts by small interactions and they gradually become intimate. The first level of communication we should be looking at is the basic information. This is the day-to-day conversation between a husband and a wife where they share details. For example, you could say, dinner is ready. My parents are going on a vacation. Or you could say to your spouse, have a great day. Why this is obviously important. It is an important conversation to make, but it relates basically to facts. And that is why we term it as the first level of communication in marriage. The second level of communication is what we can call partnership. This involves sharing needs because the husband and the wife are partners. They share responsibility, children, finances, and more. Communicating about these shared actions hence becomes vital. This includes talking about parenting and every other issues that arises as the day go on. Partnership is central in any healthy marriage. So this second level of communication is also vital, but it is still at the surface level. The third level of communication is the level of conflict resolution. So I hear fairly often from couples who like to brag that they never fought. And this is possible because when you effectively communicate, you are more able to handle your conflict. You are more able to resolve any conflict that arises. Hence, it becomes impossible to fight dirty. This always gives a pause when you hear this, but it is possible. People can disagree. It is not a big deal. The way you manage it is what matters. So you need to learn to be kind, to listen, to seek understanding. The goal of your marriage is not to avoid fight, but to resolve conflict. And this is the third level of communication. Your ability to resolve your conflict when it arises shows the depth you have gotten to in communicating in your marriage. To fight fair, you must learn to state the facts and give proofs or feelings for what you're saying. For instance, you might argue that there's no need for a change of school for your child. In saying this, it is important to present facts. So you could simply say something like, I think it would be a mistake to change school for our child at this time because his result or her result is X, Y, and Z with a proof of the report card of the result. This level of communication is meant to open up more discussion and not for you people to disagree and spit venom at each other. Most often you find out that children or even adults who grew up as children in a violent home or products of divorce that were not managed well, they tend to avoid conflict even in their adulthood because they worry that this might end the relationship. But this is me telling you today that conflict in marriage is not a bad thing. The most important thing is to learn how to resolve those conflicts and not allow it to degenerate, because your ability to resolve your conflicts in marriage will make you grow stronger and healthier in that marriage. Communication during times of difficulty is a way to ensure such conflicts do not arise again. And even when it does, you become equipped on how to handle it. In fact, conflict often happens during times of growth. The fourth level of communication is what can be termed connection. Yes, connection. At this level, you are able to share your emotions. You share how you feel. This is a deeper level of communication within couples where they have reached certain depth of emotional connection that permits them to open up and be vulnerable to each other. You can do this through eye contact, through physical affections, and through the words you choose to say. As human, we are designed to seek connection. Research shows that couples reach 100 points of connection during an average meal time. And that's to say that meal time is a great time for connection. Hence, meal time can help you connect and build your effectiveness in communication. It becomes easy at that time. But when you are at the level of ineffective communication, no meal time can do any magic for you. The fifth level of communication is personal revelation. Yes, this allows couples to express true bond of trust between themselves and allow them to listen to each other's needs actively, acknowledging that they have heard and understood themselves. So, in this level of communication, couples are able to reaffirm each other that they understood what the other person is trying to say. Here, they open up their emotion and tell their spouse about their feelings, be it good or bad. Then, both of you, the couples can now share their opinions in order to reach an agreement. This type of communication lets your spouse into your word. That is what this level of communication does. It helps you as a couple to process negative feelings, and it is one of the healthiest things to do as a couple. Your ability to process the negative feeling of your partner. You are able to process all emotions at this level, be it anger, frustration, fear, without hurting your spouse. And this is a very, very powerful level of communication to get to. We'll stop here for today, and we shall be looking at the final level of effective communication tomorrow. Until I come your way again tomorrow, I remain your Serenity Coach, Chine Wolby. Bye.